Hello and welcome to this week's BNz World Report. I am your host, Angela Ray, where we will discuss global topics and events from around the world. Our first story comes to us from inknews.com, and just in case you thought it was just a movie, well, there may have been some inspiration for the movie Soul Plane, and unfortunately, the nation's lone black-owned jet service is set to close. Opa Locka Flightline, the sole black-owned privately chartered jet service in the United States, will be closing. Now, unfortunately, their 5-year temporary lease is set to expire on April 1st. Now, in addition to being the nation's only black-owned airline, Opa Locka Flightline is also the only black-owned business of any type currently at the Opa Locka Airport, but come March 31st, that will come to an end. The company is closing due to the fact that its temporary lease is expiring and also because of a dispute with the county and its contractors wanting a new one. So I'm sure that we have not heard the end of this story. Our next story comes to us from renal and urologynews.com, and if you are an African American male, occasionally throwing back a 40 or a little tank of rage and juice, you might want to listen up, as researchers say drinking alcohol raises prostate cancer risk in African American males. Now, a team led by Lionel BNz, who is an assistant professor of medicine at Duke University Medical Center in Durham, North Carolina, followed 334 men who were participants in this study. The men were undergoing prostate biopsy at the Durham Veterans Affairs Medical Center from 2007 to 2009, and overall regular consumption of at least 3 drinks per week increased their risk of prostate cancer by 2.46 times as opposed to those who did not drink alcohol regularly. Now, this symposium is sponsored by the American Society of Clinical Oncology, the American Society for Radiation Oncology, and the Society for Urologic Oncology. Now, if there's an African American male in your life and you know they consume alcohol, you might want to pay attention to that study. All right, our next story comes to us from the Gazette.net, and it reads, a school launches a male-only academy. Well, the numbers speak for themselves. Of the approximately 40,000 students currently enrolled at Prince George's Community College in Largo, Maryland, about 62% are female, while only about 38% are males. So to help increase the number of male students enrolling at the college, the school has launched a male-only academy. It kicked off on February the 24th. So what's the purpose of this academy? What kinds of topics are being discussed? Well, the men are participating in weekly workshops, and the topics feature the importance of personal goals and development, education, time management, career readiness, and networking. So we applaud them for trying to increase the number of male students at the college. All right, our next story comes to us from globalissues.org, and it reads, Namibia female hip-hop artists challenge stereotypes. Okay, we know there are some stereotypes when it comes to how females are portrayed in both music, both R&B as well as hip-hop. Well, a group of hip-hop artists in Africa, they're trying to do something about that. Now, African hip-hop prides itself on a more positive portrayal of women, but of course, traditional cultural attitudes towards women still dominate the industry. This according to Namibian female rappers. Now, though the independent struggle and exile that left social networks scattered about in that country, well, Namibian women are trying to break away from the convention and take up careers in music, and this freedom is also fraught with contradictions. Again, you can read more on this article on globalissues.org. And speaking of what positive women are doing, stay tuned to Team Brand News as they talk with Terrie Williams.
Terrie Williams, and I'm the daughter of Marie and Charles Williams. And most people know me as being a public relations person, counselor, friends to people who are in the industry. Other people know me as an author. I've written 4 books, my latest one being Black Pain, It Just Looks Like We're Not Hurting. So very, very blessed to represent Kid and Play. I started out with Eddie Murphy and Miles Davis and Anita Baker, and have just Janet Jackson represented, Puffy, Russell, Jackie Joyner-Kersee. So I've been very, very blessed to work with people like yourself who are the best in the game at what they do. I think God has led me to help people to heal with their mental and emotional health issues. I co-founded the Stay Strong Foundation, which is an organization that is committed to empowering our youth through internships and shadowing opportunities, and most recently an initiative that's launching at the end of January, which is almost right here. It's a program called Used to Be Me, Sharing Our Stories Through Music. And our whole emphasis is to encourage people to share who we are with each other. That when we share ourselves, that's when the healing begins. There are so many of us in our community who are literally dying inside. We haven't recognized that we're in pain. We kind of sort of know it, but we haven't named it. We don't know what it looks like. We don't know what it feels like. We don't know what it sounds like. But it's in the workplace, it's in our families, it's in the streets. We are taking each other out every day simply because we are in pain and never dealt with our childhood issues and wounds and scars, and then the things that happen to us on a day-to-day basis that we're too busy to ever process. So we're walking around with much pain inside, and sometimes someone can look at someone the wrong way, and 2 seconds that person could be dead, when the person who committed the act is not bad, they're not mad, they're not evil. We're all born innocent creatures, but we inherit the pain of our parents, all their unresolved issues, and then, as I said, the day-to-day things that happen to us that we don't process. And when you don't let it out, then there are times when you literally just snap. An experience will trigger something that happened to you when you were younger, never dealt with it, and so the person that you're facing gets the brunt of it when they had nothing to do with it. When I make my transition, I simply wanted to be known that I did what God called me to do, and that I tried to make a difference in every way that I could to make the world a better place. This is Terrie Williams, and you're watching the incredibly informative and enlightening Brand News.
Wow, thank you, Team Brand News, for that special interview with Terrie Williams. I was just catching up, reading a little bit on Black Pain, this book that was written by Terrie Williams with a foreword by Mary J. Blige and Susan L. Taylor. I'll get back to this in just a second, but that's it for this week's BNz World Report. For more news that you can use 24 hours a day, please be sure to visit the website at brandnews.com. Make it a great week.